When you ask someone what they think about Smosh, you might get some wildly different answers. Some people talk about the beginning of the channel with the lip syncing and the very crude sketches. Some people will talk about what a lot of people refer to as Smosh's golden years, when they started making high quality skits, but it was all centered around Ian and Anthony. Some people talk about how they hate the new Smosh and that they should go back to the good old days of just Ian and Anthony, that these new people suck and they should just do toilet jokes again. I don't like those people, because I think Smosh is in its second golden era, dare I say its peak right now, with Bit City being some of their best work and Smosh Pit channel being some of the best content on YouTube right now. Also, I would like to say I have listened to Shane's voice way too much at this point, where I start to imagine what it would be like if I was on Smosh Reads Reddit stories. Alright, let's get into our first story. Am I the asshole for gambling away my girlfriend's life savings and then getting mad at her? I, 48 male, put my girlfriend's, 18 female, life savings onto black on online roulette. I then went on to lose all her life savings in one single roll. My girlfriend then walked into the room and I got mad at her, telling her to make me more money so I could gamble more. And she got sad and started crying, and I told her to shut up. Am I the asshole? I don't know, Shane. Let's go into the nuances of that and see if he has a point. What the fuck? Comments? What started off as two friends making goofy sketches on the internet has turned into an internet media empire, spanning multiple channels, billions of views, and tens of millions of subscribers. You hear people talking about a skit that Smosh made, something that Ian and Anthony did back in the day, probably the games channel. You hear people talking about stuff they dislike about Smosh. But the one thing you don't really hear people talking about with Smosh is their music. Early on, an integral part of Smosh's programming, besides games, Smosh animations, Smosh in Spanish, the food battle game, was comedy music. They released a lot of songs, an absurd amount of songs. Just go through their Spotify and you will actually be concerned. It's like Defy was just trying to milk any avenue Smosh could get their hands on. Well, most of these aren't like songs. They did from time to time release proper releases, which were sent out to distribution services, had in some cases physical media, and proper promotion. And these are the kind of songs that I wanted to revisit and see if they hold up at all. Now, obviously, to get it out of the way, I understand that these aren't songs made by people who claim to be artists. It's just goofy music with a goofy video made by two silly dudes who started out in their bedroom making lip syncing videos, and who by this point had more money than they knew what to do with. Like, if you were a Zelda fan with millions of dollars, why wouldn't you spend a couple thousand to have one of the most accurate Link and Ganondorf cosplays by claiming it's for a song? You would! And that's probably what Baby No Money is doing. Like I said, they had a lot of songs, like Fire Truck, Parents Suck, the Real Party song. But the first of these big songs that a lot of people remember was in fact the Zelda Rap. For some reason, I remember every word of this song. I loved this song as a kid. So I'm not gonna be looking at these songs through the lens of a music critic, which I am not. These weren't songs coming from people who wanted to pursue a career in music. These were, like I said, fun songs by goofy people. But that said, this song fucks. There are some lines that really date this song. I'd rather be forced to listen to constant Katy Perry. But the song in and of itself is so well done and really feels like a really nice homage to the Zelda franchise, of which I know nothing about. So it looks high quality and I hope the fans of it enjoyed it. Let's talk video first. Most of the video takes place in a random field, but all the costumes in this are so high quality. Like actually movie level quality costumes. And all these super accurate props are just like kind of the cherry on top. But a significant portion of this video does take place in this dungeon set that they made, where Zelda is tied up, which could or could not be accurate, I don't know. I refuse to check because I'm not a fucking nerd. For how much Smosh has changed these days, it's really funny to see some of these shots. Like, how did they convince this poor girl to get licked across the face by Anthony? How did they again convince her to get humped by Ian? This is the same guy talking about credit card points on Smosh Read's Reddit stories. And the editing is also pretty top notch. I mean, when you have these many people working on a single video that was mostly shot in a field, I guess the edit is where the video would really shine. And also that castle, but by today's standards, what with all these free presets and everyone having access to Premiere Pro and After Effects, these edits do seem kind of tame. What, a little tracking here, a little rotoscoping there, and boom! Well, back in the day, us little kids were stuck with shitty apps like Sony Vegas, which was barely able to cut videos properly. Yeah, try to make a velocity curve in that program. I'm not a fucking nerd. So back then, seeing stuff like this really did blow my mind. What do you mean the text is behind Zelda? What do you mean the moon's being tracked in space? Now, if we talk music, that's where the real fun begins. For a song released in 2011, where YouTuber music wasn't even really a term yet, this song isn't even bad. Dare I say it's good. Now, it's not something that Anthony Fantano would write home about. His review would go something like, "Now, unfortunately, this album is not named to pimp a Smosh, otherwise it'd be a 10 out of 10. Right now, as it stands, I'm gonna give it a 0 out of 10. Back then, you didn't really expect the highest of quality coming from YouTubers themselves. But Smosh was ahead of the curve apparently. The instrumental of the song is so well made, especially for something made in 2011. I'm really making it feel like 2011 was like 40 years ago, but like, come on, this is what was happening in 2011. Now I gotta find a clip of something. This is a really well made remix of the Zelda theme. And it really feels like something radio ready, considering this was produced by a person who then went on to work on movies like Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm not surprised. Out of all the songs I'm going to be talking about today, this one has the most polished instrumental out of all of them. The lyrics for all of these songs are written by Ian and Anthony, which is to say they are about as clever as their sketches were back in the day. I would like you to interpret that however you wish. It opens up with the funniest slant rhyme I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, my name is Link Bane. I'm more well known than Lil Wayne.
I don't know, but you wouldn't really expect these two to write some good lyrics. But especially in this context, these are some pretty darn good lyrics. I'm not a Zelda fan by any means, but you can clearly see that they put some love in these lyrics. I hope at least.
I hold the bush, whacker in my bank account, maxed out. Got 999 rupees in my leather wallet packed.
It sounds like there's references in the lyrics, I think. Now halfway through the song, because we are indeed in 2011 and ERB and Skrillex was at the top of the world, we completely bastardize this amazing instrumental and start having a battle rap section scored to really bad dubstep.
Oh snap, it's Ganondorf, trying to shut down my style.
Where Anthony Padilla was dressed as Ganondorf so well that for the longest time I didn't even realize that was Anthony in the costume. He goes on to say the most bizarre line I have ever heard ever said. I don't know what this line means. So Santa is dissolving his marriage because Link is gay? Is Santa gay? Is that what he's implying? Is this consensual? Well, the first few lines of the song straight up carbon date this song. The battle rap is so egregiously early 2010s that it hurts. Oh snap, it's Ganondorf trying to jock on my style. You are a ginger with no soul. L-I-N-K. More like L-I-N, gay. Man, you should have been aborted. Just like the Jersey Shore. Those two lines are back to back. I could go for a while. Now, even with all these lyrical masterpieces that Ian and Anthony left for us in this song, the best part about the song does end up being the chorus, which is the most catchy part of the song by far. Well, the first half at least. I don't know why they name drop Evel Knievel in the second half of the chorus. Was it just so they could have the word balls in the chorus? I guess if you cut the second half of the chorus, it's pretty good. Also, Ian's vocal performance is very weirdly good. Like, bro pulls off that slim, shady, early Eminem voice to a T. This song ended up being one of their most famous songs to date, and for good reason. I mean, yes, it's dated. It came out in 2011 on YouTube, but obviously it wasn't really trying to be a timeless classic now, was it? It's just a fun little homage to the Zelda series that ended up sounding very decent, albeit some of these lines are unfortunate. Again, there's a lot of Smosh songs that I remember, a lot of truly awful ones from a song standpoint. I'm Looking at You, Real Party song. But there's also a few that got stuck in my head, despite being objectively ass. Look, I'm sorry, they do have good songs, which I am going to get to, but a vast majority have the same problem. Produced well, shot amazingly, but what's going on in the song department? And even still, this stupid song has been lingering in my brain since the day I listened to it.
No more parents, no more rules. Yeah, nice try, mom, but I ain't no fool.
By this point, Smosh had fully been absorbed by Defy Media, meaning they had a true budget for their videos. Because there was no reason for a song about moving out and jacking off should be shot with Red Epic cameras, which mind you were tens of thousands of dollars just for the body of the camera alone. I don't think this was supposed to be a song. Hear me out. I feel like this is just a skit idea that they had. And Defy kind of went, no, we want to release this on iTunes. The beat is whack. Like, it's done well, but it sucks. It's also by the same guy that did the Zelda Rap beat. So I can see why they didn't work with him after this song. At least he did Elio? Holy shit. You know, if anything, what Smosh lacks in musical prowess, which I don't really think is what they were trying to show off and what they were going for, they really do make up for in their vocal performances. They really put their heart into these vocal performances, which not a lot of YouTubers who decided to go into music without actually being musically inclined can say. Just listen to how much Anthony hates his mom in this song.
Take that, mom, you can't tell me how to be. I'm living on my own and I've got no rules.
And also in the same vein, they have the Real Party song. This is somehow even worse as a song than the last one, but funnier as a skit, if that makes sense. It's not that complicated. Okay, you know how I said that the performances were the saving graces of these songs? Well, that concept has been thrown out the window, except for the girl singing in the chorus.
This is gonna be the greatest night. We replaced all the booze with Diet Sprite.
This song has such a simple, empty club banger beat that builds up into nothing. There's really not even much to critique musically here with this song because there isn't just much of a song here. It's a skit they decided to turn into a musical, or rather Defy probably decided to turn into a musical. This really pushes me towards a theory that Defy was forcing them to turn their skits into songs so that they can get them sweet iTunes sales. Because this one just sucks. We don't have the industry juggernaut that works on Marvel movies producing this one anymore, but rather these people who I can't find any info about, and I really don't care because this song blows.
That's a real party.
Maybe that's why it has such low views compared to the others. I'm trying to tread a fine line of being overly critical of these songs or just viewing it from the lens of an obtuse fan, because this one would have genuinely benefited from just being a skit or having a sketch between the songs somewhere or before the song, something along those lines. And you bet your ass this is on every distribution platform. And there's probably a good chunk of fans buying this song on iTunes because streaming wasn't a thing yet. So like, that's where my confusion kind of comes in. There's no way they thought this song was good, right? As in, yes, it accomplishes its goal of being a parody song. But when they listened back to this, did they really think people would like it enough to buy it on iTunes? There's just really sometimes I wish I was like a fly on a wall in like their writer room. Like, I bet they were having a blast recording this song just as a one-off, but then Defy barged into the room and said, mix and match this right now, we need this on iTunes. But overall, this song could have been done way better, like something Ryan Higa did with his song Get Introverted, which had kind of the same concept because the skit within the song is kind of almost the same, but the song is done way better and is actually listenable rather than whatever they made here as a song. Let me reiterate, as a song, i.e. if I ever hit next on Spotify and this shows up, I'm clicking the 3 dots and clicking don't recommend artist. Why am I still talking about the song? Everyone talks about the Assassin's Creed 3 song that Smosh made, that it's their best song ever, and that it's the best thing that they ever made. And I agree. But before we talk about the best song, we have to talk about when they tried to replicate the success of the Assassin's Creed 3 song and weren't able to capture the same magic. So where the Assassin's Creed 3 song was a slow EDM rap banger, they decided that for Assassin's Creed 4, they want to make a punk song. And I do not know why. Not to say it was badly done. It's actually a good song, all things considered. They do a British accent for this whole song, except for Ian's second verse where he forgot to do his accent.
All the ladies love me cause I'm a big pimp. Hope they don't smell me cause I stink like shit.
It ends up sounding like something the Offsprings or the Dead Kennedys would make, because those are the only two punk bands that I know. This video is so insanely well done. Like, they rented a whole pirate ship and have such high quality costumes for every single person involved. And they have a properly choreographed fight scene on a coast, which looks insane. And halfway through the song, they transition into the most intense swing pirate metal that I've ever heard. If they could have pulled this off in the middle of the song, why was this not the whole song? Like, this part is actually so addictive to listen to, and I'm still so confused as to why these two pull off these amazing vocal performances, but there are parts of it that really fall apart. The guitar riff, the lead guitar sounds so sloppy throughout the song. It doesn't have that power that a punk song should have. The mix just didn't really sound right for this one. I feel like whoever mixed this song didn't really work with this genre of music before. That's why it's kind of a muddy mess. I also don't like punk as a genre, but I can definitely appreciate this song and see how well it was pulled off. And the chorus is so well done, it's just missing that last like 10% to push it over the edge.
A pirate's not for me.
If they kept up this level of quality, they could have genuinely become YouTube's own Lonely Island. But they wanted to stick in a separate lane, and I can almost guarantee that the main reason this song was made was because Defy saw the success of the Assassin's Creed 3 song and said, hey, let's try to do that again. Now, this song did gain a lot of traction as well, but nowhere near the amount of attraction the Assassin's Creed 3 song did. It didn't come anywhere close to its success. Speaking of, how many fools can I kill today? Too many to count. Don't get in my way. Such simple words, yet it defined a generation of comedy game parody music on YouTube. This song legitimately has a life of its own. What with over 100 million views, they really struck a chord with audiences with this one. This is by far the best song that Smosh has ever made. At least from the ones that I've listened to. Like, I'm not gonna go back and listen to 50 songs and with 45 of them being Food Battle 2014. There is so much right about this song that I don't even know where to begin. So let's start with the things that I don't like in this song. The beat is in fact a beat. It was most likely made in-house since there's no one credited with a link in the description, and it kind of shows. The chorus sounds good, but then this is the worst part of the beat that borderline ruins the song for me. These ear-grating violins that start throughout this song. It really ruins what could have been like a perfect song. But the fact that that's the only critique I have of this video really should speak volumes to how good this song and video was. They start the video off with the simulation device effect, which if you've played Assassin's Creed, you would know that's an integral part of the story. They really made it feel like the video is actually set in the 1800s rather than just being a cheap set, even though it probably was, let's be real. The way they transform this alleyway into a medieval market is so impressive. The shot they get out of it with Anthony walking through this crowd. Walking through this crowd. It's just so cool looking. Having actual dance choreography around Anthony was also genius. Having real guns, especially with this shot with Ian. For some reason, somehow, Ian and Anthony give off such aura and don't come off as cringe even all these years later. I know they were going crazy listening back to this in the studio. If you have ever recorded a song, you know that feeling of listening back to it and getting insanely hype when it sounds good. And I know that's how they were when they were listening back to this chorus. This beat accomplishes so much while having so little. Now, speaking objectively, the verses by Anthony isn't really something to write home about. He uses the same flow for both his verses. But once again, this chorus is genuinely legendary and is most likely the reason why this song went as viral as it did. Because at the end of the day, even with the one critique that I have, it is a genuinely good song. And can we talk about how Ian dropped one of the most unnecessarily hard verses? His part is literally the most replayed in the video. He has such a good voice for old school hardcore rap, and his whole verse is some of the best writing that Smosh have done in their musical careers.
You can't step up to me and my gang. Horse and carriage drive by, bullet in the chest.
Only having one like real comedic throwaway bar, but the rest is just a well-written verse. Every time I listen to this song, the line "bread and butter lift the covers while you find the fucking heat" becomes my vocal stim of the week. And to transition from that obscenely hard verse into an even larger chorus with vocal swells in the background now, just actual chef's kiss. I could probably make a whole video on this song, but just let me talk about a few more things, okay? The way the beat builds up in the pre-chorus in the first verse is so satisfying to listen to, and the payoff is so good. The post-chorus with the vocal chops is also really well done, and doesn't sound out of place like in any way.
Tomahawk, 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 tomahawk.
Having the bass come in the second part of Ian's verse was the most hype part about the song. I wish I could go back and listen to the song for the first time again. And to have that then transition into the final chorus, which again is so huge and has all these vocal swells going on, is just like, how did they pull this off? Also, for some reason, I always thought it was Mari dancing in this video. Don't ask why, my brain just saw Asian lady with Smosh, and the only Asian lady Smosh had at the time was Mari. But can you blame me? Do you remember how many Asian videos Smosh made on their second channel, which all were just videos including Mari? A concerning amount, actually. And you wanna know the best part about all of this? I never even played Assassin's Creed 3. So while I was editing this video, I decided I wanted to go through Smosh's discography a bit more deeper to make sure I didn't miss anything too crazy. And in one of the albums, this one in particular, Sweet Sound of Smosh, they have a whole myriad of remixes that they have in the bottom of the album to kind of pad the album out. All of them are really bad, but one that stood out in particular to me was one called AC3. I wonder what that could be. I have never felt physically ill listening to anything before in my life, but there's always a first time for everything, isn't there? Why don't we take a quick listen together? This made me so mad knowing that someone at Smosh at Defy signed off on this being released on an album with Smosh's name on it. And the rest of the remixes on this aren't very good. And I got so mad that I decided that I just want to see what it would look like if I were to remix the song real quick and see what I could shit out. So I did.
When I'm hunting, I be stunting, you could never find me in the bushes, in the insects, in your mother's laundry.
Watch me coming free.
Riding up the walls like a boss.
What you looking at?
Bitch, chase my tomahawk chop.
Like I said, Smosh has an absurd amount of songs. And I did listen to a good portion of them, but most of them are... The best way that I can put it is that the comedy was first and the song was kind of a byproduct of that. There's not much to talk about with most of these songs that they released. I really don't think Smosh is trying to pursue a musical career and become YouTube's Lonely Island. Like they didn't have a pure passion for music like some other artists do, which is valid. Not everyone wants to make music, obviously. Yes, they made the Assassin's Creed song and the Legend of Zelda Rap, but most of their catalog is just bad. But that's okay, because for the most part, that's what they were aiming for. In the modern era, they haven't really released a lot of songs. Like they've made a few, but haven't distributed them for the most part. There's Girls Are Gross, which makes me feel a type of disgusting, like nothing else ever has. And I don't know why, I just refuse to watch this video again or listen to the song again. Or more recently, their song with Baby No Money called Submissive and Breedable, which is just a genuinely good song if you put the theme of it to the side, because you will not catch me dead listening to something called Submissive and Breedable. But Baby No Money genuinely did bring a new flavor to this song and take it to a level that Ian and Anthony alone really couldn't. And it really did turn out great. But this song was released in 2024, and ever since then they haven't released another song, which I'm pretty sure is signifying that they don't plan to release any more music anytime soon, and they would rather focus on all the other things their channels are doing. Like they have a significant podcast network now, which I listen to a lot. Bit City is one of the funniest things on the internet right now. The whole Smosh Pit channel and Smosh Games channel is genuinely some of the best content on YouTube. I'm surprised it's free. But like I said, I don't think they're releasing a song anytime soon. But if they do, can I do it? Please, pretty please, Smosh, Ian and Anthony, Shane, Courtney, anyone? Can I do it? Please? I want to make a song with Smosh. Anyways, thank you for watching. Get out of here.